Captain, incoming message.
Intruder alert on deck 8. Enter authorization code. Command functions are offline. Automatic defense procedures initiated. Diagnostic complete. Sensors are functioning normally.
Pass the butter.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to the Trek Log or Orville wrap up. We're doing the Orville first, aren't we?
Orville is Star Trek, so yes.
Well, we're hoping to hear from some other people to kind of load up the Star Trek panel, so we'll see how it goes. I got my phone here.
Yeah. So anyway, I am, of course, Captain Rob. How's it going, everybody? And joining us is Lieutenant Commander Tom Connors.
Hello, Captain.
I thought he was
And joining
commander.
us, he's been demoted.
Oh.
He's lucky I haven't blown him out the airlock yet.
Well, it's my fault. I keep playing pranks on him, so.
Yeah. Like that time you cut off my leg and had to regenerate a new one.
Well, I was thinking of the time I put the clear plastic on the toilet, but okay.
And you put you freaking, yeah. You said that I was gonna make a joke about a Gorn. That didn't work out. And with us, as always, is the lovely, vivacious, ebullient, effervescent, and I'm running out of adjectives. I got to come up with a few new ones. Miss Mecca Random, and she's on camera to draw attention to her Star Trek fundraiser.
Go fund me. We want to go get to like Star Trek in Las Vegas. Please give us money.
Mary's in the chat. Yes.
Hey, Mary.
And we got Mecca bouncing around for Vegas.
Because, dude, their data is singing. Brent Spiner is singing. They've got a concert. They've got a Rat Pack concert the next night. Klingon karaoke. They've got the Okudas doing a panel about the trials and tribulations. Like, nerd stuff. Total nerdgasm. Of course, I want to go to Star Trek Las Vegas. Total DS9 big shebang, I guess. Is that still a term? Yes. So, of course, I have to have a nerdgasm about that. Please help GoFundMe. We're at 926. And I just said I would do the bathing suit if we hit the 1,000 or once we hit the 1,000. So,
all right.
Yes.
But we do have the boob window, the Klingon boob window in honor of Star Trek. If Klingons were hippies, I don't know.
Yes.
That is a really nice, cute top that you're wearing there.
Happy 420, everybody. So obviously it's weird. I wake up, I have 418 Twitter followers, and now I've got 420. Is that weird or what?
It's fine.
It's fitting.
Wow,
It's
man.
fine.
It's like the universe is in your thumbnail, man.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So, okay, where do we start? Well, let's start with the Orville.
Well, of course
we're
we're starting
waiting
with Orville. That's what this is. We're just going to do them separately today. Sorry, that wasn't too clear before we started. My bad.
Yeah, because we want a couple other guests we want for this STD wrap up. So anyway, Orville. What was the title of this episode?
Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow.
That's right. Tomorrow. Yes.
Why is the Orville so good? Why is the Orville so good?
That's it's when the
Okay, I'm going
unsolved.
to bury the lead on this, but I'm going to say this up front. This is probably my second or least favorite episode of the series of the season so far.
Yeah, I'm with you there because there was another
But it's still
relationship one.
Emmy-worthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like this one. I like this episode. Didn't like it as much as some of the other ones, but I did like it. So what happens is, we first see that Isaac and Lamar are fooling around with the time thingy from the first episode. Remember that?
The anti-banana ray.
Yes, the anti-banana ray does work on salads. So, so they're trying to get it to work on a salad. So they think they may have a breakthrough. So, they actually, Kelly's called away. Kelly's in the room. She gets called away, and there's a graviton wave or something that gravity wave that hits the ship, and it triggers the device. And Isaac is there with the anti-banana ray, which is what we're going to call it now because I can't remember the proper name. The anti-banana ray.
We could be dicks to STD and call it the real-time crystal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Because they kind of
Yes.
deserve it.
I
Yeah,
guess
they
it's
do.
Pat the Anti-Trekker's birthday, so happy birthday, Anti-Trekker.
Yes,
Happy
happy birthday,
birthday,
Anti-Trekker. Yes, he's in the chat. Is he in the chat?
Oh, some of his peeps are. I think he's streaming
Well,
right
anyway,
now.
he was last. I caught some of his stream, and he said he was going to celebrate with Mrs. Anti-Trekker. So, happy birthday, Anti-Trekker.
Wow, chicka, wow, wow.
Well, he didn't say that much, but anyway. So anyway, it's a Tom. Don't make me demote you again with the crickets.
I ain't cleaning toilets, I'll tell you that.
So anyway, Isaac's in the lab, and it triggered, like I said, the graviton wave triggers the anti-banana ray, and somebody appears in the lab with Isaac, and it looks suspiciously like Kelly in a bad wig. And it turns out that it is.
That was a bad
and it turns out that it is. And I don't know there was something up with her teeth. I don't remember. I don't like what that.
They did a lot
weird.
to try and make her look just slightly younger. It seemed like they went overboard with that in a way with makeup. And I think they brightened her teeth up a little bit, maybe CGI wise. And I think they even took out a few wrinkles, maybe even made her face a little thinner.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, Michael Canole in 2.99 super chats. Thank you very much.
I'm not
Ka-ching.
on the
Ka-ching.
wrong one.
I got it. There you go. So there you go.
He gets 2. He's got 2. He gets 2. There you go. Thank you so much, Michael.
Anyway.
Canole.
So anyway, we find out that it is Kelly from approximately 7 years earlier, and so she may very well be stuck because they can't really replicate the circumstances of the accident.
Well, they figure out, first of all, the reason that she showed up from 7 years ago was because Kelly was the closest human to the banana ray. And they figured out that it picked that version of her because it was her last thought, which is really abstract bullshit. But he's like, that's quantum physics.
They said, that's quantum physics. Yeah. I mean, so they said, well, you know what? They're trying to make her feel at home. She feels so out of place. She feels so lonely. And Tala is actually saying, listen, you're here, you're here now, and we're gonna, make you try to feel as comfortable as possible. If you need someone to talk to, I'm relatively new here myself, so. Well,
they figured at least temporarily that whatever happened, she's not affecting the past in any way. Yeah. Kelly is still there, not remembering any of it. So they're like, well, until we come up with a solution, you might as well just live your life here, kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah. Well, make we'll try to help you as best we can to get you along. So,
very much like Thomas Riker.
Yeah. That's actually the episode that it reminded me most of. Yeah. Except rather than, Thomas Riker being transported through time, he was just the result of a transporter accident, and he lived like 7 years, 7, 8, 9 years on that plane alone in seclusion. And that, to me, has got to be worse because that's got to drive you nuts, just being the only person around. So, but anyway, they get the idea that they get her a uniform. They give her, they want to bring her to active duty, and she starts talking to present Kelly and future Kelly. There's actually a crack about don't call me old Kelly. There's actually a crack about that, which I kind of like. And so, actually, what this episode started with a very nice. Actually, we should mention they were in this started with a very nice piece where they were in 10 forward, and they were talking. We get to see like some character moments, actually, some nice character moments in this. That's where you contribute, guys.
It was so sweet. I really liked that because you get Ed saying, "Yeah, hey, I still want you. I still want to be with you." All that stuff. Like they're it's sweet.
I was gonna say there's more to it in a we'll kind of get to it as the story goes along here. But
well, the circumstance. Well, at the beginning, the circumstances was that they were talking to Gordon and Tal about the circumstances of Kelly and Ed's first date. That's part of it. That was on her mind. Yes, that was on her mind.
So it happened to be the Kelly from that night. That's why that was relevant. And so it's fresh in her mind. She just went on her first date with Ed, and Ed, of course, confesses that he'd like to give, her and Kelly another shot, but Kelly now is like, no, I think that's past. So young Kelly's like, well, you know what? You're not dating him. Can't I give it another shot? Just because you screwed up doesn't mean I will, kind of thing, in so many words.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, like I said, and so they actually do have a date together. And Kelly had President Kelly made a remark.
She was against
Ed.
it, though.
She was against it, yeah. But they made a remark to Ed before that they'd be hungover, and she was the one that would peer pressure him. No, he wants another drink. He wants another drink. Get him another drink. Get him another drink. And they actually showed that later, which is actually kind of good. Yeah. See, this show, the Orville adheres to its own internal continuity, unlike someone else that we will get to.
They can't even stick to their own thing in their own damn episode.
So she's basically got to come to terms with everything that has happened in the last 7 years and basically start all over as her own person. She's kind of finding her footing on the Orville, but then she disrupts Kelly's life again because she's telling stories that Kelly doesn't want her to be telling to her crew. Yeah. And of course, younger Kelly understands that, after talking to her, that she's got to have an air of respect, about her, and she can't too chummy with everybody. But then, of course, young Kelly gets pissy because she's like, I can't basically babysit everything I do and police everything I do just to worry about, you all the time either. I mean, or us, however you look at it. So there's that aspect of it. So for that, I think is when she kind of turns around, decides she's really going to go full bore with Mercer. Because I think kind of she decides that. So then they kind of take shit to the next level.
Yeah. But the other thing, too, is that there was a moment where President Kelly and past Kelly, they said, I thought I'd be married. I thought I'd have kids by now. I thought I'd be a captain.
Right. And that's just saying,
she gets really upset. I'm looking at you and you're the disappointment I don't want to become. Or words to that effect.
That's so interesting because that kind of makes you think, okay, what would I do with my past self or future self, right? Would I be a disappointment? This is one of those sort of life lesson sort of shows that makes you think about your own mortality, your own, what would you do in that scenario? And I also was questioning would I want to know what was going to happen? Would I want to just, oh no, let me see if I make that mistake or not? I mean, I think I would definitely want to know.
Yeah.
But what if they decide, oh, we can't tell you because we don't want to corrupt your timeline or something?
Well, they bring that aspect up. He's like, well, technically, if there's any way that she could corrupt the timeline, we should have her quarantined. But I'm not going to quarantine her when she's done nothing wrong,
Right?
Yeah.
And then as they kept saying, as long as you're here and nothing seems to change, as far as you're concerned, then there is no effect. Because they say that it may have caused like a time fracture to where a duplicate or what have you.
Well, yeah.
Time remnant called in other shows.
Tangent timeline, yeah.
But like they said for that where Flash will go fast enough that he'll create doubles of himself.
But there's there was this actually remark Ed said about that Kelly said to Ed, I thought you studied time travel at the academy. Yeah, I got a B+. I thought you'd get an A. Nobody gets an A in time travel. That's I thought that was a nice little dig at the Orville. So, but anyway. So yeah. So Ed and past Kelly. Yes. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Duh. What am I saying? There's a dig at the STDs. Yeah. There's a dig at the STDs. Okay. What was I talking about? I don't know.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Jeez, you're easy to impress.
There is the B story that does connect with the other story, so we might as well talk about that now. The what's the faces? The robots.
The Kalons.
Kalons, thank you.
The Kalons.
They noticed a few Kalons are tracking them, so they try to hide a couple different times and lose them.
Oh, this is so good. This is so, you got the beautiful ship porn. You got they hide instead of ripping off, Star Wars like Discovery would have done. They actually go off and they hide underneath an asteroid, and they turn off all of their heat signatures and everything they can, and they basically frost over.
Yeah, so they look like another piece of ice and the reason that is because young Kelly happens to remember that she did a report on the nearby planet that has rings of ice, and she just realizes that if they do all the things that Mecha just said, that they should be able to, hide themselves from the Kalon. So they do so, and it's successful. And then not long after, they basically realize that they may be able to recreate the event to send young Kelly back, but it's going to take all the ship's power pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we got some amazing shots in that too. Like there's a shot where she's looking up into like the moon roof, and you see the frost just glaze over. It's so gorgeous. It's just they know what they're doing. You actually get to see what you want to look at. They're spending all that money on it, and you can actually see it.
Den Prez with a $2 super chat. He's asking, can he get a WNBC? Okay, all right, just for you, Hey, Hamas in the morning, WNBC. Okay, there you go. That's what I am. I'm a dancing monkey. Jeez, that's rude. WNBC. So, all right, there you go.
He did pay you for it, so.
Yes, he did. There you go. Okay, now. Where were we? Okay. So anyway, there's this great thing where Kelly and Ed go on the date, and they're reminiscing about old times or current times for past Kelly, and they show him like, oh no, he wants another drink. They showed that part, and so it ends with them actually showing a nice, kind of a sweet kiss outside her quarters. Ed is on cloud 9, and he's Captain. He goes, hello. So they showed actually a bit of off-duty moment where that someone, he has to still maintain that decorum and be respectful, but they still show him as a human being. So it's a nice kind of, like I said, juxtaposition that they show. And there's the whole thing about the club. When Tala wants to they want to go to a club, and Gordon is there with Ed, and Tala and Past Kelly are dancing, and they invite Bortus and Clyden. And that was amazing.
It reminds us of ritual song from Where We Come of mating or something like that. And they're like, we must finish the dance. I love that. This is glorious. The other one that made me laugh was when Mercer and Malloy were playing the video game too. That was fucking hilarious.
That was great.
Oh, I love that. That is so what I would imagine a video game would be like in the future.
Yeah, because it would be holograms. It would be holograms. Yeah, or it would be on the holodeck, or
something like that.
It would be projection, and it shows you like I said, oh geez, why would somebody wish? Like no, they're like I said, they're human beings. It shows you another side of them. Yes, we will own the night. The night is ours. That was great. That was great. I can't get over that. That was hysterical. But anyway, like I said, and so. We see Bortus. We actually get to see a happy moment between Bortus and Clyden for a change, because things have not been well with our favorite Mocklins, and so that was good. But I did like the thing about the club that the music was so loud, and they couldn't hear. And Tala was out dancing with Kelly, and Bortus and Clyden were dancing, and Ed and Gordon were there, and they were saying, no, we're fine, we're finished drinks. Where's the bathroom? It's over there. And like they couldn't understand each other. He goes, no, we're fine. We're gonna finish it. We'll just sit here. We'll finish our drinks. Oh, okay, the bathroom's over there. And they couldn't. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what a club is being in a club is like. Which is why I've always hated clubs.
Yeah, I've never been a club person.
Yeah, I've always hated clubs. I'd rather just go to a watering hole. So. The video game scene is Richie Poole. The video game scene is very similar to a Fortnite skit in SNL. I don't get the Fortnite thing. I don't get Fortnite. I understand people love it. They think it's fun, but I do not get the whole Fortnite thing.
Yeah, it's just one of those. It's one of those games. It's easy to stream because there's like some downtime. It's quick. You can kind of come in and out of it. It's it varies. Like the gameplay varies. It's not my thing. I don't like
All right. Well,
player anyway. But.
Well, before we get too far off track. So anyway, so Isaac and Lamar later in the episode, Isaac and Lamar, they're finding a way to send her back. But at the same time, though, it shows you how Ed and Malloy are older now. They're a little older. They're in a much different place. When they're in the club, they're in sort of a different place than younger Kelly is, and present Kelly is, not into that so much anymore. It just shows you how you're a different person, even over the course of 7 years, how you're a different person, how you can become a different person in even that short of time.
Right. I think that I think because Ed had changed so much too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It really makes me think why would he try and give it a second chance? I guess he's just only human. He would make mistakes, but I would almost think that he would kind of realize, oh, this isn't, I've already done this. I've moved on. And I get he's lonely and, obviously he's attracted to her because he married her and, and she's very much his type, but I don't know. I would think he would be a little smarter to not do it because it's.
Yeah, but also there was also another scene though where Gordon and Ed are actually having a drink. So think about getting together with past Kelly. Like, dude, that's a bad idea. I was there. I had to pick you up off the floor when your marriage ended. This is no. I get to correct all the bad mistakes. I'm like, dude, I'm just warning you. I don't think it's a good idea. And they were warning him it's a bad idea. And even past Kelly was saying present Kelly was saying to past Kelly, says, Ed completely fell apart and they were actually dancing around at first the whole thing about why did the relationship break up. Oh, there was a Retepsian. He was in heat. They didn't want to say whose fault it was, so that they didn't want her to have any sort of impact on that. Yeah. So they were kind of thing, and they were saying about how it's a bad idea, and that's listen. They call it. There's that old saying. They call it a breakup for a reason because it's broken.
Right.
And certainly enough, as tempting as, revealing a little bit of myself, as tempting as it would be to go back and try to correct things with a couple of my exes, I want no part of them now.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Yeah, you kind of get to that point where you're like, well, this is why this is in the past, and none of this is going to change.
What kind of speech that Kelly gives him?
Tom, you're riding a motorcycle while you're
I know how to know, but it's like 90 degrees out.
That one I heard.
I live up. Yeah, you guys know I live right down the street from a fire station, so every once in a while, woo, so.
Well, it's kind of all like set up in the very, very beginning when, like I said, when Mercer tells Kelly that, he kind of still has a thing for her, would love to give it another shot, but she's like, it's done and it's over with, it was great, but, we have to move on. So, I mean, there was kind of like a little bit of a, whatever you want to call it, prologue or set up there. She set up basically what was going to end up happening, but then the end was even more kind of fucked up because, like we said before, I got ahead of us, but they finally figure out how to get her back, and she gets back. And what happens, Rob?
When they get back, she agrees to a mind wipe, and they said, "How do we know this is going to work?" Wait a minute, you don't remember any of this. So it worked. Okay, so they give her a mind wipe, erase all her memories of the last couple days, and the ship's ready to fly apart. She can't take much more of this, Captain. And they do manage to send her back, and she wakes up on the floor of her apartment. And Ed calls. It's the day after their first date. Ed calls. Hi, I hope I'm not calling too early for you. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed myself. Can we please go out again? No, I don't think it's a good idea. I'm sorry. It's not going to work out. And that is like my heart just sank.
Yeah, I know.
Like, oh. And you're an emotionless robot, Mecca. You don't feel anything.
I know. I hate that. Or just the way he looked at her, just when he was like saying, we can still make this work, or that this isn't off the table. Every time he looks at her, I'm like, oh, you're making me fall in love with you. Don't do that. I hate feeling things. That's my big thing. Like, I don't want to feel anything, but no, this does it so right and so well. And even though this is like what the 17th relationship one in a row, they're still good. They're still really well done, and they still make a lot of sense. And they're still Star Trek. There's still science in them.
But this works because you care about the characters, though.
Yeah. Oh, and I love Ed and Kelly, and I was really worried that they were going to make her unlikable, like, oh no, she's cheated on him. And at least, like because of everything else that we saw in the first few episodes, I'm like, okay, I'll give them a benefit of the doubt. Maybe they'll redeem her. They'll do something because they're smart people behind this. And, they started out fairly strong and sure enough, they brought in Derulio, and then it turns out he was in heat. So you could kind of say, oh, well, she really couldn't control it. She was under the effects of the pheromones. And yeah,
But that still wasn't enough for her to convince her that was the only reason it happened.
Yeah.
See, and that's the thing is, obviously, when she went back, the mind wipe didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's tempting fate by doing this. What do we think we're going to see next week now because of this? Because this to me was the most interesting twist of the entire episode. Up to this point, I liked it, but I didn't love it. This point, I'm like, now that's a very interesting twist there. Because how are things going to start at next week? Is it going to be like they never dated, but they're still working together and they have a chance for a budding romance now? Or will things just continue on not having any effect, assuming that she changed her mind in the past? How do you think they're going to lead this off in the next episode? Do you think this is even going to, really be a big... I would think, knowing the show, but I don't want to assume. You know what I mean? But I would think that this is going to affect the show from here on out. What do you guys think?
I think it will, in a way that we like. I think Ed and Kelly will be the same. I think this might make a separate timeline, like Back to the Future 2. I think this might make that, and we might get that Kelly coming in through some sort of a time shift, kind of like a mirror universe sort of situation, where things might be different. So we might see her again in another season or two. Maybe, kind of like they kept bringing back Tasha Yar.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
We got a super chat from Avenger Mark II. $5 super chat. The finale is going to be yesterday's Enterprise. Yeah, it could very well be. Very well, maybe.
Could be.
Yeah, I gotta have a feeling that this will affect something, or like create some kind of, like you said, it'll create a time rift or something of some type that'll cause some issue they have to deal with. Yeah,
or maybe it'll kind of reset time, and they didn't date, but now they're free to because
that's what I was saying. Yeah,
that would be interesting too, like a way to kind of give them a romance. Hopefully, they drag it out a little bit with like the will they won't they stuff if they do that.
What would be weird though, because we'd almost have to go back to the very beginning of the show now, because things would have been different from the start.
Yeah.
She would never cheated with Julio. Ed wouldn't have been hungover.
Well, you would almost have to start the show over again and be like, oh, like she's applying for the job or whatever. And I'm like, oh, I know you. Yeah, we dated that one time. And, something like to that effect. Who knows? They may have a few flashback scenes and then push us forward to now, maybe. Or like you said, if they just start out and nothing's changed, then I definitely would assume that at some point they're going to bring it up. Either she changed her mind or it created a time rift of some type or something.
Yeah, ripple effect, the butterfly effect. Dang it! Why can't I say that? So, the one thing we didn't bring up was we did get to see Yaphet this episode.
Yes, Yaphet
dancing.
Yaphet dancing in the club. It's great. Is that Yaphet?
Of course, it's Yaphet.
Of course, the only gelatinous being on the Orville. Yeah, or she's commander. Yeah, someone's bringing up she's commander and Ed's second command. We don't know. Like I said, they said Halsey had said that he was top of the class. They thought he was going to be commanding a heavy cruiser by the age of 40. So maybe Ed's career will have taken him in a much different direction.
Yeah, maybe he's on the heavy cruiser and she's on the Orville.
Yeah, you don't know. Or or maybe because of or maybe I'd say maybe Ed gets put on an assignment where he doesn't survive. You never know. I mean, something happens.
I mean,
you hate
people are saying like, and I don't agree with this, but a lot of people kind of think he's like the weaker one on the show. But I think he's perfect. I think it's like, I think he's the perfect mix of, you know, kind of stepping back and letting his people do what they need to do, and still being very competent and very very much a leader. So I think
Maybe
he's
that's
fine.
what will really change is not her so much, but Ed.
Yeah.
You know, maybe he'll either be a complete dickhole and somebody will realize it or something, or she'll have some kind of, you know, flash and realize something's not right and they've got to fix something. Like she'll have to go back in time and talk to herself or something like that.
Well, this kind of brings us back to what Kelly told Gordon, who told Malloy at the end of that episode a couple weeks ago. Remember, it said every relationship helps shape who you are.
Right. And that's true. That's a good point. You brought that up because this show has done that a lot. Has called back to things from episodes before without us realizing it until after the fact.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what if they do that? Oh, this is gonna be so good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this maybe
hoping,
for season 3. Maybe this whole thing, like, we'll notice, like, everything will be weird in the next episode until 2/3 of the way through. Somebody will figure it out finally. Maybe, you know, if it's not Kelly, it'll probably be what's his face, Isaac. I can't believe I was his name. So, because he was present closest to both events, and being a robot, there's a possibility he could retain some kind of memory from that alternate timeline, and like somebody says something, he's like, "Oh, things have changed because of," and go on and so forth. But yeah, we should wrap this up here so we get to STD because we've got some people waiting for it. So,
No.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, it's kind of like going to.
But if it's setting up things down the road, then it's one of those episodes I'll look back on and say I was wrong about because it means so much later on. So, and I've said that already a couple times.
And they're smart enough to do that. They're definitely smart enough to bring something back in a few episodes or in seasons, maybe.
Oh, I'm convinced they've got this ship completely planned out. This is as intricate as the things are in the show so far, these first 2 seasons. They have planned stuff out since the first season that was going to happen now. There is no way you could have done that Isaac storyline the way you did without planning most of that out ahead of time.
Yeah, the only thing I got to say is that aging Palicki, she actually, it's well documented, she has celiac disease. I don't know if that's contributing. I don't know if that's contributing. She's managing it, but I don't know if that's contributing to it. But she has lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, she's so slim.
I think they use that to their advantage in this episode. Did you notice that? Like to kind of make her thinner, they put her in a lot of tight clothing when she was younger Kelly, as opposed to older Kelly.
Well,
they even had that scene where she looks at her own boobs, and she's like, "Oh man." And obviously her older self, her boobs are a little lower than her younger self. I even noticed that about Mecha did.
Yeah.
There was a joke actually, and okay, I was watching. I freaking love Christina Applegate. She's in the movie The Sweetest Thing with Selma Blair and Cameron Diaz, and they were in the changing room and they were going over their boobs. They were up here when I was 18. They're down here when I'm 28. I'm like, it's so cruel. I'm like, and I had to kind of like chuckle. I was like, yeah, a lot of worse things happen to you when you hit 40. So just enjoy it. So this, it's a toboggan ride. So
Black Phoenix wants to know what celiac disease isn't that a problem where you have a problem with your
I'm not 100% sure what
gluten, I guess.
Celiac disease.
Yeah,
celiac disease.
The professional on the panel says it's gluten.
Yeah, it caused by reaction to gluten. One in 100 people have the condition. Symptoms include, well, you can look up the symptoms.
It's the reason everybody freaked out and thought they all should stop eating gluten. I think is because they finally realized what this disease was. And like you said, 1 in 100 people have it. Yeah, it's probably better for most people.
It's fairly common. Yeah,
it's still one. Of
those, but
they had it the next day.
Yeah. Well, according to what I'm reading now, it does cause you to lose weight. It's one indication.
Well, yeah, if you're not able to process it or whatever correctly, I'm sure, because that's one of the main sources of fat in your body.
Yeah. So here's hoping, here's hoping she can, she's managing it well. But like I said, she looks so much better at the beginning of the season 1. Okay, I don't like thin women. Okay, that's the thing. I don't like thin and I like womanly women. All right, is that you beat it out of me.
See, I would be afraid I would break a thin girl.
Probably would. Well, so yeah.
All right, folks.
Okay.
Well, like I said, hopefully it plays out to be more than what it is. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, and like Mecca said, they're smart enough to do that. So, final thoughts on this episode, guys?
It's really good. Probably 7 out of 10, maybe. It's not the best. It's not the worst. I mean, it's still light years ahead of Discovery.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they want me to admit it to, and the people in the chat want me to admit it. Okay.
I like big Asian butts, and I cannot lie.
Okay, there you go. I've admitted it. So, all right. Good episode. Not the best, but still good. Still good.
All right. Well, we'll be starting up our Star Trek Discovery stream here in a moment. I'll get the link in the chat for everybody here. And hope you can join us. We have Q Storm from the Red Shirts joining us, and we may have another special guest joining us. So stay tuned for that. So check us out over there. Here is the link for you guys in the chat. Anything to say before we go, Mecca? Tell them where they can find you, send you to Las Vegas, all that good stuff.
You can send me to Las Vegas as I bounce for the camera for the GoFundMe to go to Las Vegas to the Star Trek convention, to go and see all of the cool stuff like Klingon karaoke and all those awesome, amazing things.
Giggity, 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 giggity.
All right. Of course, check out Mecca's channel if you haven't already. And final words, Rob. Take us out, Captain.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all.
Prostitute and a whore.
Oh,
That's my final words. All right, everybody. I think we pretty much said all we're going to say. So let's just leave it at that. Looking forward to the season finale.
Well, yeah. There's not much you can say until you see the next episode to see how it affects things.
Yeah.
People are wondering about season 3. I think they are, like I said, I think they're waiting for upfronts or for the season finale to air. So
I would.
We just got to sit and wait.
We don't.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. All right, everybody. We got to get going here. We got another Trek log to do. We'll catch you next time.
Captain, incoming message.
See you in a few minutes.
Intruder alert on deck 8. Enter authorization code. Command functions are offline. Automatic defense procedures initiated. Diagnostic complete. Sensors are functioning normally.